Tonight I'm hosting family dinner for 13 people at my home. My first time cooking for this many. As always, I love making everything from scratch. With inflation, feeding a big group can get expensive, so join me as I prepare an affordable yet delicious meal to share with my family. Is it snowing outside, bud? Snow? You see the snow? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are hosting family dinner at my house for quite a lot of people because if you don't know, I have a big family. I have 6 siblings and my mom and dad obviously, and then both my sisters have 3 kids, so there's 7 grandkids. So we're gonna have my sister, her 3 kids, her partner, my brother, his girlfriend, my other brother, and my mom and dad who are all coming. On the menu tonight is a hearty lentil tofu curry paired with homemade naan bread and hummus. This meal is not only cost effective but also incredibly filling, so a little goes a long way. Lentils, the star ingredient, are rich in fiber, protein, and key vitamins. Combined with budget-friendly staples like tofu, coconut milk, rice, naan bread, it's the perfect meal to feed a crowd. Since Makai is only 1 and needs a lot of my attention, I started early by prepping the naan bread and hummus to avoid rushing later. Living in a small house during winter means Makai often wants to be close to me, which makes cooking a balancing act. That's why I try to prep everything ahead of time when possible. Therefore, I can cook a little and then go play with him and then come back and cook a little and clean and go play with him, just kind of in a rotation. So I first started off by making my hummus. I shared my hummus recipe countless times on here because I could honestly live off of it. I make hummus usually at least once a week, and if not more. It's great as a dip for salads or to add to meals, and it makes things more filling, and even Makai loves it, which might be because I ate so much hummus and tahini while pregnant with him. He actually likes tahini more than a hummus. He'll literally eat it by the spoonful and he'll cry for it. But I'm not mad about that because tahini is full of healthy fats. So anyway, that's besides the point. The recipe for hummus is pretty simple. It's just chickpeas, tahini, lemon juice, garlic, olive oil, salt, and I add a bit of water to make it more smooth and not as thick. And it also helps blend it if your blender is not the strongest like mine. I have a decent blender, it's a Ninja, but it does the trick, but it could be better. A tip for making your hummus extra creamy is 1, I recommend removing the skins from some of the chickpeas. This step isn't necessary, but it does make a difference with the texture. I only usually do this when I'm hosting because the skin does have extra fiber and I don't like to waste them. But like I said, when I am hosting, I like to make the best version of the hummus as possible. So I take this extra step, and you don't have to remove every single one. It doesn't take long, maybe 2 minutes. Just remove as much as you can, maybe up to 50%, and then throw them in the blender. And another trick to make your hummus creamy is if you add water, make sure it's ice cold. I'm not sure actually why this works, but I've attempted so many different hummus recipes and I just find adding ice cold water or even an ice cube for some reason makes the texture even creamier. So once the hummus was all prepped, I moved on to the naan bread just because these 2 things could be made ahead of time. Makai just fell asleep and it's around lunchtime now. All I got done was the hummus. Everyone's coming at 5-ish. So I have about 5 hours, so I have plenty of time to do everything, and the curry really doesn't take long. So next, I'm probably just gonna prep while he sleeps. So really just cut up some onion and some garlic. And then I'll probably make the naan bread. They don't have to be super fresh when they come here. I mean, as long as it's made the same day, they're still good. Just because I'm someone, I love to cook, but I hate to feel rushed. I probably won't actually make the curry until around 4 because it really doesn't take that long to cook. And I want that to be warm and ready when they're here. Take advantage while he's sleeping because Makai is a mommy's boy, and if I'm around, he just wants mama. So before moving on to making the naan bread, I decided just to prep some of the things for the curry. So I was just cutting up some onion and chopping up some garlic, as well as grating some ginger. That way everything's just ready to go when I do decide to throw everything in the pot and make the curry. And it also just leaves more time to make the naan breads closer to when they come. I mean, it only took me really 15 minutes to do this, but I just wanted them to be fresh as possible. But I did make these probably, the naan breads, I don't know, maybe 4 hours in advance, so still not that fresh. But like I said, it is what it is with a baby. I just prep everything as early as possible because you never know what the day is going to entail. And if he's crying and he really wants mommy, I want to be able to tend to him rather than just cook and Kai have him while he cries. If you're curious, I would say my parenting style leans on towards the gentle parenting. So I like to just, tend to my baby's needs and listen to his emotions. And when he wants one of us, then, that's what we do. We give him attention when he needs it. So anyway, on to the naan bread. Yes, they are probably best when they are fresh and made right before, but they're also great even if they're a couple hours old. So that's why I made the naan bread next. For this recipe, I combined 2 cups of flour, a pinch of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 cup of Greek yogurt. Since we were running low on yogurt, I made a smaller batch to save some for Kai's breakfast because he likes to have yogurt for breakfast and he would probably be sad if he woke up to none. The plan was to double this recipe, but it made about 6 or 7, which, if we cut those in half, everyone got one. After mixing the dough, I divided it into small balls. Roll them out on a floured surface and cook them in a hot pan. They take about a minute per side roughly to cook, and when they're ready, when it starts to bubble, that's when you should flip it. You can cook this with olive oil, but that's optional if you have a pan that doesn't stick. So I would say in total, including making the dough and cooking these only probably took roughly maybe 20 to 30 minutes. It really is an easy recipe, and things like naan bread, flatbreads, pita breads, once you start making them yourself, you realize how cheap they are, because it's literally basically flour, sugar, water, baking soda, those ingredients, cheap ingredients, and it's actually a lot quicker than you may seem or you may think. One of the realities of homemaking and cooking from scratch, because I'm not really a homemaker, but whatever that definition means, I do like to make most of my foods from scratch. Anyway, besides the point, the reality is that dishes literally never end. I'm either cooking or doing dishes, it seems. One or the other. It's a constant cycle of cooking, cleaning, and repeating. Cooking, cleaning, playing with Makai. Cooking, cleaning, playing with Makai. To stay organized, I clean as I go, which helps keep my space functional and my mind clear, because I'm one of those people, I cannot function if there's a mess. Yes, sometimes I'm in a rush and it is what it is, but for the most part, I try to clean up as I go. And also, living in a small space with not too many things like pots and pans, it's necessary to clean up after each thing, because if not, we wouldn't have the tools to make the next dish, which I think is honestly the way to go. There's no need really to have like 10 different pots and 10 different pans and 10 different cooking utensils. The less the better, and living in a small space just reinforces that. Makai loves carrot soup. Yeah, you love it. You love mommy's homemade carrot soup. It's literally just garlic, onion, carrot, veggie stock, coconut milk. That's literally it, and he loves it. It's one of his favorites, along with curry that we're making tonight, bud. Yeah, we're gonna have curry for dinner. Yeah. Yummy. Should mommy put this in your bowl and you can feed yourself, and then mommy can go get her dinner? Okay. Should mommy get you a smaller spoon? Do we have any? Let's see, is this spoon smaller? You want this one, buddy? It's a little smaller. You want 2 spoons? It's a hot sauce, buddy. You can't eat this. After a quick lunch of leftover carrot soup and pasta, I moved on to the curry. I somehow forgot to peel and grate some ginger earlier, so that's what I'm doing now to have it all finished, prepped, while Makai finished his carrot soup. And of course, me and Makai had to have a little dance sesh in between, because why not make cooking fun? Honestly, having Makai around when I cook just makes it that much better. He's so cute. Just look at him smile at me. He is literally the cutest boy in the whole entire world. But at this point, he was getting tired of being in his high chair because he was finished of his carrot soup. And although he enjoyed looking at mommy and smiling, he wanted down because he is on the move, guys. He is crawling over everything. He's not walking yet by himself, but he does walk along furniture, but he climbs on everything, on our couch, on our chairs, on his toys. So he definitely has to have good supervision most of the time or all the time. So I was just cleaning him up here and then passing him on to Kai so I could move on to the tofu and the curry. I started off by draining the tofu, but it's extra firm tofu, so it's not one of those tofu that you have to let it sit compressed for a while to get the liquid out, and having a little bit of liquid in it is fine because it helps keep the spices onto it. So I just drained it there and then started cubing it up. After it was all cubed, I added it into a bowl along with some cornstarch and nutritional yeast. Usually I would use arrowroot powder, but I actually used it all for my dry shampoo that I made. So I just mixed that all into a bowl until it's fully coated, put it on a baking sheet, and toss it in the oven. So it is 3:30, and like I said, everyone's coming over around 5. So I'm just gonna start the curry and then simmer it and then get on cleaning duty, because the thing about making things from scratch is that you're constantly cleaning. I've been cleaning all day, doing dishes, sweeping, but then you get flour on the floor, you make new dishes, so it's just a constant making and cleaning ordeal. So we're gonna get on that because we have an hour and a half, but really the curry shouldn't take too long to put everything on, and then we let it do its own thing while I clean and kind of plays with Makai. So unless he wants to clean, I always give him that option. But okay, let's get to the curry. Another issue of us having a small house is we don't have a lot of stuff, and not only just that, it's just because we just moved, so we don't have a lot of stuff. I cook a lot, but usually I'm just cooking for us, right? We don't usually cook these big meals, but we're gonna start this tradition, and this is the biggest pot I have, so we'll see. I'm gonna make a double batch. It might not all fit in this, so we'll have to adapt the recipe and make it work. I'm gonna start by just simply sauteing my onion with a little bit of olive oil, and then after that I'll add in my garlic and ginger briefly, and then all my spices, add in the veggie broth, the lentils, and then it will do its thing. I always have to double check I turn the right one on, because I have to admit I do it often where I accidentally turn the wrong burner on. So just a splash of olive oil. We'll saute these for 5 to 10 minutes until they're golden brown. I check my tofu now because I threw it in a couple minutes ago. I usually don't really time this. I just put it up to 450, put it in, toss it around, check it every so often, and then have one, see if it's crunchy enough to my liking. It doesn't have to be cooked perfectly because we will be throwing this in the curry. I just like to have a little crispy edge to it. The tofu wasn't quite done when I checked on it. I did stir them around a bit to make sure all the sides were crispy, and then put it back in the oven for roughly 10 minutes before going back to the curry. I sauteed the onions for a couple more minutes before adding some garlic and grated ginger along with veggie stock, just to prevent it from sticking to the bottom and burning. I only added probably, as you can see there, maybe 1/4 cup of veggie stock, and mix that all around. And then after I sauteed that for roughly a minute, I added my spices and checked on the tofu again. At this point, as you can see, the tofu looks more crispy, so I took it out. I added a little more veggie stock again because it all evaporated, and again, I didn't want it sticking. And then I added 2 tablespoons of curry powder. If this was just for adults like me and Kai, I would add more spices, and I would add some chili flakes. But this is for kids, and their spice tolerance is quite a lot lower, so I did not want to burn their little mouths. So I didn't add that, but I did decide to just serve it with a side of hot sauce in case anyone wanted to make theirs more spicy. Next, I added 4 cups of lentil, more veggie stock, and let it all simmer. I forgot to rinse the lentils this time, but I recommend doing so to remove any debris because they can be dirty. So this is my reminder to myself to wash them next time, but I was just doing too many things at once and forgot, and that's why they say we are not made to multitask, because you will forget things. Once the lentils were softened, I stirred in a can of coconut milk for creaminess and finished with fresh cilantro for garnish. While the curry simmered, I prepared basmati rice. It's quick and simple, just 1 cup of rice to 1.5 cups of water, bring to a boil, then simmer with the lid on for 12 minutes, so it basically takes no effort. You just leave it and let it do its thing. And it's also one of my favorite rices. I just like the texture of it and how it's more crispy and not soggy like some other rices. I guess soggy is not the description I should use, but you know, like it's just more firm than other rices. And if you're wondering why I use water from an old sparkling water bottle, it's because our tap water isn't drinkable. I've talked about this a few times on here, but we are in the process of getting a filter installed. But for now, we just fill bottles up at my mom's house and then bring them here. Anyway, everything started kind of wrapping up around the perfect timing, because as soon as my mom and my nephew and brothers and sisters started to arriving, the rice was just finishing up and the curry was done. So I put everything on the table and called it that. Guys, it is now much later. It's 8 p.m. I just got finished from putting Makai to bed. Everyone's gone. Everything's cleaned up now. So I just wanted to end the video here. I didn't show us serving the food just because for privacy reasons, not everyone wants to be on video and there's kids around. But I hope you enjoyed the process, at least, of me getting ready for my family dinner for lots of people. I don't even know. I'll have to count and put it in the title how many people. If you like this video and you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe, and I guess I'll just see you guys in the next video. Thanks for coming along with me again. Bye.